you find him?
No, I found something else.
Well, what is it? A mountain lion? Oh, it's too big. What do you think, a huge grizzly, Tom?
No. No, not a cat. Not a grizzly.
Oh, what is it?
There's only one thing in the mountains that leaves a track like this. A creature of legend that roams the timberline. My people named him Sasquatch. You call him Bigfoot.
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 I do believe in Bigfoot, and I'm sure he lives in Hollywood.
Why was Bigfoot so popular? He was campy, and he was fun, and I guess he was cuddly and lovable.
Sure liked it better when we were on the same team.
I think it represents one polarity of what we did on 6 Mil, and that polarity was a little bit campy, a little bit for fun, a little bit exaggerated.
Bigfoot was big. All these, little grainy photographs that you'd see of this Sasquatch in the Northwest woods. Who is that? Wow, And so I thought, wouldn't it be cool to write an episode where Steve encounters Bigfoot?
Bigfoot was a big episode, We shot that on the back lot and on local locations. And it was just a lot of fun. It was a great script.
Leonard Nimoy of Star Trek had hosted a show called In Search Of. And this was a documentary, it was a half-hour documentary that a lot of people are doing today in search of the real Bigfoot or real sea monsters around the world. So that was popular then. Those documentaries were popular. So they took that element and they brought it into the $6 Million Man. And they said, hey, what if Bigfoot really did exist? And then what if aliens made him and he wasn't really part of Earth? And they just ran with it.
To bring in Bigfoot as a character and aliens, but keep the story maintained in a dramatic cradle of drama where it's really about a life or death choices. Because what you're talking about in the Bigfoot episodes are about, earthquakes and, hundreds of people will be killed versus, this small colony. And it comes down to those moral dilemmas. But Bigfoot, major character.
I needed a Bigfoot. Where do you find a Bigfoot? I looked around, and Andre the Giant was suggested to me. This was long before he did Princess Bride. He only spoke French.
Can you understand me? Are you a man? Well, it never hurts to ask.
Which left me really handicapped because my French is not that good. But he was enormous, 7'6" and 300 pounds and behemoth, and a very, very sweet guy who'd never done any acting. So it was like, okay, how are we going to get through this?
With Bigfoot, when they used Andre the Giant, who was the most enormous human being I've ever seen in my life. He could bury a beer can in his hand. You wouldn't see the top or the bottom. And we had him in a suit. We almost killed him. I think he lost 35 pounds the first 2 days he was doing the show.
I walk in, this guy's, I'm 6'3", look at him. Gee, he's incredible. He was just incredible. I thought, well, what is he, The sweetest guy I've ever met in my life. And everybody loved him. And when that show went on.
The Bigfoot episode with Andre the Giant, this guy, I think he weighed 475 pounds, was 7'5" or 2" or something like that, had fingers on him. You could put a $50 through his ring, you know what I mean?
Oh, he was huge. And he also he was not only huge, but he wore these lifts. So he's like 7 feet tall to begin with, or higher, 7'6", plus the lifts. So you're looking up, I'm 6 feet tall, I was at the time. I've shrunk since, I think. And I'm looking up at him, and I'm saying, that's incredible.
Oh, I'd say they were very evenly matched.
I don't know.
No, I'll still bet on the Sasquatch.
Bigfoot was not really a villain. He fought Steve Austin, so in those terms, he was an adversary. But he wasn't really a villain. He was just doing his duty. He was protecting the colony of aliens that created him. So, in Bigfoot's eyes, he was a hero. He was a protector, and Steve Austin infiltrated his colony. So they had to duke it out.
Suppose that he gets into a fight with Bigfoot and pulls his arm off, and it's not all blood and gore. It's like bzz, sparks and stuff, and it's like, oh my God, this is something else again. What are we doing here?
Oh, I just loved working on the Bigfoot episodes because Andre the Giant was terrific. Of all the characters we've had on the show, he shined above the rest. And not only was he tall, it's huge, 7 foot, whatever he was, 6. And one of the things I would do as a stunt gopher, I call myself back then, you'd hold the actors or the stunt guys' jewelry or rings or what have you, so when they fight, they're not having their jewelry or watches on. So I would be burdened with that. When Andre would do his fights with Dad, Double and Steve, he'd give me his rings and his chains, and I mean, my God, his rings were so huge that 2 of these fingers could fit around one of his smaller rings.
Andre would go through catering like a bull in a china shop, and his arms were laden with food. He was he was an amazing guy. He could just eat all day long.
First time Andre the Giant got in line for lunch, we were lunching, and they were serving chickens, and I can't remember the name of the cook, but he puts one chicken on the plate, and Andre goes, another. And he put another one on. These are whole chickens, another. He had 3 chickens. And at the end of the day, they were all sitting around having a beer. He had a beer in his hand. You could not see the beer can.
We wanted to see what Andre the Giant really was. And so Lee and I kept bringing him beers, and we put water pills in there, so he'd have to go to John. And we'd follow him all around. He never went to the John. Never went to the John, so to this day, when I die, we will never know.
Easy now, easy. I don't want to hurt you. I'd like to think the feeling's mutual.
You don't get anything better than, a big guy in a hairy costume rolling around in the wilderness with Lee Majors, battling it out, ripping up trees and just, going for broke.
We're at the back lot at Universal. And we had this fight, and the one which starts out where I flip him, and he hit the ground and just rolled and came right back up, and it really surprised me how fast he was. Then he picks me up, throws me over here, and then I roll out of the way, and then he throws me down again. I go down this little mini cliff-like, and then he comes at me, and he wears size 25 shoe, and he jumps off this cliff, and he's coming at me, and all I see are these 2 huge feet coming at me. And if they hit me, forget it, I wouldn't be here talking to you now. And I rolled out of the way, and the ground shook when he hit. And we get up and we finish the fight and everything else. But for a big man, he moved real fast, I gotta tell you.
So I wrote the episode, and in the course of the episode, I wrote a sequence where Bigfoot knocks Steve out something and picks him up and carries him into this cave, and the cave becomes this ice tunnel that's sort of rotating as he's walking through it. And I remember Ted Shills, my production manager, calling me up and said, "What, are you crazy, Kenny?" Teddy was this nervous little guy. He'd always talk like this. "What, are you crazy? This is a 1-hour episodic television. We can't afford to build ice tunnels that turn. What, are you crazy? You're out of your mind." I said, "Teddy, come get me in your golf cart. Let's take a ride out to the back lot at Universal." And he said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Just come on." So I took him out to the Universal back lot, where on the tour they had this rotating ice tunnel.
We're the first ones to be able to shoot on the rotating tunnel at Universal. And that effect, if you're in the cars, it's bad enough, but if you're actually standing there on the bridge when the set's rotating around you, you really do get motion sickness, and you tend to just walk off. And we had to tie the camera guys down when they're doing the handheld shots there, because they would just have a tendency to kind of move off and That would have been a bad thing.
In terms of Bigfoot, I am not a believer. I was never a believer, but I thought that they were interesting, and I loved the use of the ice tunnel.
As I recall the shot, we were tracking in front of him, so he was walking right toward camera, and you had to see that it was Lee's face. And Lee said, "Kenny, there is no way he's going to walk down there holding me. He's going to drop me on my butt, man." And I said, "No." I said, "Let me talk to him," because I had figured out how to do it. And I went to Andre in my broken French and said, "Look, Andre, when you're holding Lee in your arms and you're walking, don't look ahead. If you look ahead, you're screwed. Look down, look at the floor, and as you're walking along, just keep your eye on the floor, and everything will be fine." And it worked perfectly. And I think I even let Andre do it with me so I could show Lee that you're going to be okay. And it, it worked out well.
At the time that The Secret of Bigfoot came out, I was somebody who believed you needed evidence to make a decision.
Bigfoot was a big issue or big phenomenon at that time. There was like movies about Bigfoot and The Secret of Bigfoot.
I didn't really know anything about Bigfoot. I just thought it was a character, actually, back then that we developed. I didn't know it really so possibly existed.
I believe that there probably is or was a Bigfoot. I've never seen him myself, but there's a lot of species of animals and things out there that some of them we're just discovering.
I wasn't sure, and I was willing to believe, but I didn't give up my skepticism. I felt like we'll find out one of these days.
Beware the Sasquatch. Much